All right, we're live. Rakshit, how are you going?
Hey, I'm doing great, Mackenzie. How are you doing? Thank you for organizing this. I know this is very early morning for you.
No worries at all, and I'm very well, thank you. glad you're well too. Um,
Yes.
and yes, it's not too early actually. It's about 7 a.m. here. I think. What's
Oh,
it for you? 10:30 in the night.
yes, 30 at night, yeah.
Fantastic.
So, great.
So whereabouts are you?
I'm Dublin, Ireland. Yeah.
What's it like over there?
Uh, it's like in between summer and I would say rainy season, but like it's Ireland, so it's always raining, so can't complain over there.
What percentage of
So
the time is it raining there?
all the time,
Really?
yeah, all the time.
Like 100% of days.
So like in a day you can see all four weathers. Sometimes it's snowing in the morning, then sunny, then it will be raining, then it's again sunny, and it's windy all the time. So all four weathers in a single day you can like experience over here. So
Wow.
it's fun.
What attracted you to a place like that?
So I was living in Europe for since 2014, studying, working, and I was supposed to do my master's, third master's. So I had three masters so far.
Hmm.
So I wanted to move to an English-speaking country, and Ireland had more prospects and a good IT infrastructure. And I come from a background of technology, so that's where I wanted to go.
Fantastic. So you've got such an amazing story. I'm not sure where to start. Maybe we'll start with your current job. So, what are you doing at the moment? Where are you working? What's your role?
So I'm working at EY in Dublin office. I started as a grad. I started in intelligence automation, which is RPA, robotic processing automation. I started as a developer in 2021 of September, and then since then I've been working as developer, BA, depending on the projects. And so far I have had 6 clients, and it's been a fun ride, a kind of roller coaster, I would say. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So, what's a typical project for you like?
So typical project would, I would say from the start, it will be like in getting introduced to the client, then going through their processes and finding out A to Z of the processes, errors, everything there is to know about it, all the data and everything, then starting the development of automating that process. So generally what intelligence automation or RPA field is all about is automating mundane or repetitive tasks. Say like if you go on a website and book a ticket of flight from a particular city to another, or say like there is a company who like have employees who travel all around and they have to do this every day. Employees sitting there and doing this. So it is a repetitive task. So we can automate that so that like with one click or with like a scheduled time, it will automatically book tickets and send it over to all the employees. So that like that employee who's doing this repetitive task can work on some creativity or something like which is more important.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
you've really got oversight for the whole project. You know how to make the stuff. You know how to be the BA and kind of custom
Yeah.
fit it to their needs.
Yes. So as a BA, what is mainly is like requirement gathering. Then like after requirement gathering, you have contact with the client and have everything approved. Then you go to the developer. If I am a developer, I'll start developing things by finding out the system requirements and everything. And then the BA is like going through like it's more like a software development. It's actually a software development from A to Z. So all the phases we follow. Yeah, it's fun. But like sometime when like your bot or software is not working, so late night is also there. So
Yeah, I bet. A lot of like debugging and fixing code errors
yeah,
and stuff.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You're very much right. So a long time back, I used to work as a data analyst as well, and I would say like that was much more fun to work because you had like a particular time frame in which like you just had to analyze data, and you know where you're going. And yeah, and in RPA, sometimes it feels like because sometimes we like deal with systems which is legacy system or very old, and you have to integrate everything there, or something. The most, like I would say, like the nightmare thing for us is like when there's a software updates.
Oh,
Yeah,
I bet. That must be really
yeah.
tough. So with legacy systems, do you have to bring in, experts in those systems to kind of like convert it across?
So like we have a very big team who look after all of this. So as a PA and the project manager who are working on a team, their task is to like look at it from like all the perspective, all the scenarios, if it will fail or something like that, and highlight that in the beginning of the project. If something happens in the middle, which I've seen a few times, and that's not good. Like people get sleepless night having calls at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., or early in the morning, 7 a.m. So just like you right now, you're having a 7 a.m. call. So those are tough times, and then like client is not happy. So I would say like being a consultant and everything, the most important thing is making the client happy and delivering the things which you have promised at the end of the day.
Mm. So cool. I'm reminiscing a little bit now when I used to do that. Well, not the automation and whatnot, but the consulting stuff. It's quite fun, isn't it? I mean, it can be stressful, but I feel like it's quite fun.
Yeah, it is. It is like you get to meet a lot of new people. You get to know different teams. You get to work with different clients, new technology, and get to learn a lot of things. Because I would say like being a consultant is like you are what you call king of all, like jack of all trades.
Yeah.
And then you go on a client and you have to be what you call ace for that because you are portrayed as like you're the expert on this, even though you didn't know 1 week back what that technology was. Master everything there is, and then go in front of the client and say things like what they want to hear, and not like say something that gonna like get you in trouble. So.
Mm. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You do you kind of they're like, oh, you're presenting or you're showing them this dashboard at this meeting in tomorrow, and you're just thinking, well, I'm not sure how to build dashboards.
Yeah, exactly. When I started with like UI, I didn't know anything about deploying projects in RPA. I would say I had some experience when I was like working. I just used to dabble in that, like do some like my pet projects and these kind of things. That's why I was chosen for this team. But when I got into this, like people are so much what you are ready to teach you whenever you like fail or something like that. There's always support, and so that's one thing I love about consulting. You can go to anybody, and they'll be like ready to help you out. They'll try to find time and give you all the perspectives and right people to talk to. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That says a lot about EY Ireland as well. It must be quite a nice culture there.
Yeah. So I still remember like when I was going through orientation, there was this guy I met. He works in like business consulting, which I don't have any relation. He was just there to give me training, but I reached out to him about like how to talk, how to build network and these kind of things. And he was very much happy to get on a call. And sometimes I still do that because networking is the most important part of consulting, and because you want to have a learning curve and learn how to talk to people to build your portfolio in terms of like what you call the human capital. So I still do those kind of things. Like I would just send 15 minutes invite to somebody. If they are busy, they will say like, I should reschedule this. Nobody will like deny you the opportunity of learning. So that is something like UI Ireland has ample like learning. So.
That's amazing. That's the dream.
Yeah.
I also resonate with that. When I was at KPMG, I felt that I could reach out to pretty much anyone in the office and they would probably help catch up, send me resources. And they were very open to me working across multiple projects as well. So when I was there, I initially joined in risk consulting. And that changed its name like quite a few times. But I expressed interest in working in other teams. So I ended up doing projects, obviously some in risk consulting, but in like management consulting, data analytics consulting, cybersecurity, even financial audit and kind of fraud audits and stuff like that. So, but then you do also hear stories of people who are at consulting firms where they don't get as much support.
Yeah.
And, I won't name any companies, but
Yeah, we shouldn't.
that might, yeah, I can see how that could be tough for some people, where it's kind of super competitive in there and everyone's really tight on time and they don't get that. But that's really good. I'm glad you're loving it. And it's crazy it's been 2 years already. I can't believe
Yeah.
how much time flies.
Yeah, exactly. I still remember the time where I was struggling to get a job, coming out of pandemic, getting out of my third master's and everything, and that was the time I got like in contact with you. I was talking to a lot of people, and we had a chat about like how things were like. And you said, guys, like how I met Mackenzie was like I was going through a little bit tough time. I was like almost 200 to 300 applications in. And I was applying every day. I was reaching out to people on LinkedIn and everything. I was doing whatever I can and learning whatever I can at that time. Doing certificates right, left, and center. I completed around 50, 60 certification in 2-3 months because that's what like people I was seeing like people were doing certifications one after another on LinkedIn, and then somebody's getting into a job. But the most important thing which I was able to find out after having a conversation with a few good people, Mackenzie included at that time, is like it's not about quantity, it's about quality. Where you go from start to end, what your dream is. Like I wanted to get into consulting. EY was one of my dream company. And to be frank, like I was rejected 7 times before I got into this job by EY itself. So when I met Mackenzie, I was almost 200 plus applications in, just 2 interviews at that time. And then we got to start with a plan where he said like, yeah, doing a lot of things is important, but like doing the right things is more important, right? Mackenzie, something like that you said at that time, I remember. And and then like I started to not like focus on a lot of quantity, not doing a lot of stuff, just doing the right stuff. So yeah. So Mackenzie, yeah.
Sorry, you go. Are you going to say something?
Yeah, no, that's it.
I was going to say, I do now that you've said that, I've just gone back in my head two and a half years or whenever it was when we first had that phone call. I've got
2020
in that note down there somewhere, and I can remember it now in my head. It's so funny, isn't it? How you can go from really kind of finding things so kind of challenging and feeling like it's, you know, maybe it's not going to work. You know, you've invested in all these degrees and like you've got to get something, and maybe you're on a visa and you're not, things aren't looking up, and you're just thinking, oh, maybe this isn't going to work out, trying to get help from everyone, trying to figure everything out, and basically being worried that will you ever get into the field? Then 2 years, 3 years later, you're here, dream job, EY. Like I absolutely love seeing these kind of transformations, and it's so inspiring for people who are. I speak with people all the time at grad jobs, messaging me, like saying they can't get jobs and they're struggling and they're so upset, and it's just nice to know that if they do put in the work and do the right things, they can definitely do this too, right?
Yeah, you're completely right. And sometimes it's like, if you see, like when I was struggling also, like that was pandemic time. And when I came to Ireland, that was 2020 of March. And after 3 months, so when I came over here, I already had a little bit of experience. I had 2 masters already and everything. And I used to get a lot of offers in terms of job offers during that time. But when pandemic started, everything dried up. And then when I completed my master's, I started to apply and nothing was there. So bad times also happened with everyone. And being an immigrant, that is another story. A little bit of difficulty because like we come from a different culture, we come from a different background of working culture, how we communicate with others and how we actually reach out to others. So that I learned over a course of that period where like, I was talking to Mackenzie and a lot of other people on LinkedIn and networking. And that is something I learned. And that is actually, I would say, I implemented when I was interviewed for EY. I remember like Mackenzie gave me the access to his platform where like you can prepare for interviews, what kind of questions are asked and these kind of things. And I locked myself in a room for 2 days and prepared for all those questions. And I remember like, I shouldn't be saying this, but like there were like 40% match of questions and like 60% were like literally almost there, those questions. So I was pretty much lucky to go through that. And then the most important thing is like after interview, you're supposed to follow up with the interviewer, which I did, and I still have a good relationship with them. When I joined, they gave me kudos and everything. I had a good conversation with them. So yeah, building relationships is the most important thing which I've learned during that time and still now. So thank you, Mackenzie. And thank you everyone who helped me during that time.
Yeah, I'm glad I could be a part of the journey. I feel that you always had that, obviously always had the ability, and you were always gonna get there. I believe, but it's very nice to have been part of the journey, and hopefully have helped speed that along. I still remember the story. We had I think I was in Gold Coast at the time, which is like east of Australia. And I think I was staying with my mum or something, and we had a call, and you were I think you were going back home or something, and maybe back to India, and you were kind of like, oh, like I've just got to go home and sort some things out. I'm not in the right headspace or something. And then next minute, you get this interview for EY Ireland, and then I think you flew back for the interview, right?
Yes. So that story is incomplete without my background a little bit. So I had 3 masters as mentioned. So that's a family thing. And then I was supposed to go for PhD, but then pandemic hit and I wanted to work and delay my PhD. And that time, like the struggle started. But before that, I had like a gap of a year or 1.5 between my masters where I worked. But now I wanted to continue my working. Like I wanted to be in the professional work. So I started looking for a job and doing whatever I can to find it. And then like pandemic was bad. The situation was not good back home, everywhere actually. And my parents were like, yeah, come back. And I had few offers to teach back in India. And that's what my father wanted. My parents, they said like, yeah, come back. You will be happy with us. And like, at that time, no, I wouldn't go so far to say like everybody was not happy during that time because pandemic and everything. But I was not happy. My parents were not. So I decided to go back. And the moment I landed over there, I started getting interview calls. And the first one was, I was interviewed back home in India by EY. I was there itself. Within some time, I got my offer. And I joined EY. And the fun fact is, after I joined EY, I got multiple offers.
Oh, you never... I don't think you told me that, actually.
No, I didn't. I didn't. So I got multiple offers, and I said like, yeah, bad times do pass. And now today, if I say like, with my experience, I've been to a point where like I'm gonna like rise to some other level in coming times, and I do get like on average 5 to 6 offers in my LinkedIn, or somebody reaches out to me on phone every week. So that's not from like applying 200 jobs and not getting anything to 5 to 6 offers every week. That's something.
It's crazy, isn't it? And it's I think it's such a cool story. I love it. And it's it just shows you when, isn't it so funny when you, it's that when you kind of don't have experience and you're looking for experience, obviously it's kind of hard, right? Because they all want someone with experience, and as soon as you have experience, you have to kind of bat people away. Isn't it so funny how things change?
Yeah, I still remember like when I was talking to one of the partners over here in EY Ireland, he said like, Rakshit, I want to tell you, like, busy people get more work. Busy people get busier because they show like, yeah, they have caliber and these kind of things. That's why. So that time I understood like, yeah, when you are in job, you get more offers rather than you are not in job. And the funny thing, if you go on a job description or LinkedIn or anywhere, like even like now, interns need to have like 2, 3, or 4, 5 years of experience in some job profiles. And that's so funny. Like I'm applying for an internship and you're not even going to pay me something which is competitive, and you ask me for this much of like experience. So yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. That's a whole other thing. We won't get into that. That's too negative a topic, I think. But that's fantastic. So I think what everyone wants to know is, how, like, do you have any? I'm sure you have like hundreds of tips, but what would you say is your biggest tip for people that they're looking to get this job in their field and they're struggling? Maybe they're in the place you were, applying to jobs, they're networking, and it's just not quite working out.
So my biggest advice will be like for 3 things. First, about networking. So networking is a big part of job search, and everybody do talk about it, and everybody wants to do it, but either they do it wrong or they start very late. So start as soon as possible. Like people say, like when they get into their masters or bachelor, they say like they will start at the end, but that's not the point in time. You start from the beginning, because relationship building is like putting money in your savings account, small things at a time, and then you can withdraw it. Same thing is relationship building. So you need to keep talking to a person rather than like going to that person on the first day, like, yeah, hi, how are you doing? And like, this is my CV. Can you refer me to this job or something like that? That's what people do. That's the wrong way. And so start like networking from the first day of your college, whenever you can, and do it right way. Just go through their profile, read about what they have done, talk to them about that. And then later on the stage, when like you have, say like, yeah, good relationship, they will be happy to help you, rather than you going to them on the first day saying, yeah, I read about this and this, I want to join your company. What can you do? So that's a bad impression from your side on that person. So that's never gonna work. And the second thing is about doing about the CVs and your resumes or cover letters. So, and LinkedIn optimization, your profile, that should be very much optimized, because it's all about ATS and all about character matching or data points. So if a job profile has some important terms like say Tableau, Power BI, these kind of terms, and if you don't have that on your CV or your LinkedIn, you're never gonna get to like the first round of CVs or resume screening. So you always need to be like, make your CV ATS friendly and these kind of things. And the third thing is being job ready. So you need to keep learning as well. Because right now, if you see, like I work in technology consulting, McKinsey has worked over there. So he also knows about these kind of things. Like every 6 months, there's new technology. Right now, we are seeing ChatGPT, and which is saying like, yeah, there's not going to be these kind of jobs in the future. So you need to be always looking out like what's going to be the next, because there was a time where Tableau was the biggest thing there is for data visualization. People used to do every visualization there. It was fun. Right now, if you see most of the companies, they're going toward Power BI. There are a lot of different things why that's happening. We're not going to get into that, but yeah. So you need to learn. Like if you are learning R in college, but the market demand is Python or some other language, you need to spend some time on that in your own way and start building your portfolio. So the biggest thing which I think why HR or anybody was able to reach out to me is like, I used to build projects and publish it as soon as possible, write something about that. I used to do blogging, and I was very bad at in the beginning. But later on with experience, that like it's just like reading or writing. The more you do, you get better at it. So build your portfolio. So 3 advice: networking, CV, and third one is like build your portfolio. Whatever you do, publish it, because it's just like when you meet your friend, you say, I have a beautiful house, but if you're not going to show it to him, how is going to know about it? Like, yeah, you have a beautiful house. The same thing with your portfolio. You need to put your projects out there for people to see, so that like they know, like, yeah, you can do this. Yeah, I can work with this guy. We can teach something. At least he has something there, like the base knowledge. We don't have to start from scratch, and that is already a valued one, I would say. So,
Sorry, continue.
that's from my side.
Awesome. There's some good takeaways. So, what do you think if you looked at Rakshit before getting these interviews and offers from places like EY, and then Rakshit when he got the offers? Do you think it was those three things that made the difference, or was there something else that was kind of more discreet that made that difference? What was that? Yeah, just curious.
So yeah. So out of all these three, the second part, CV and cover letter, was the most important thing because I applied for a graduate role at EY, and like thousands of people applied through that. And it goes through the ATS applicant tracking system where like they character match the job description and your whatever you have on your CV. So I used to keep changing my CV to match job description. I used to make unique or custom one for each job. So that was the one way like I crossed the first barrier. Then the time came for the interview where like I learned through a few of the videos from your platform, from other platforms about how to be like better like at interviews. So that was there. And the third about my portfolio, that helped me to get into the right team because RPA was something I was just doing when I was doing a lot of certifications. So I did that. So my team found out, and not a lot of people do that. So I was able to get into the right place. So all those three did help me, not in the same order which I explained, but but at the end they did.
Okay. And so with your portfolio, how did
Yeah.
EY know about that? Did you bring it up in the interview? You were like, I've actually done RPA, I've done a few things, I'll send it to you.
So I had my portfolio on GitHub and Medium. I always had that on my CV. And when I was getting interviewed, they were asking me what you have done and these kind of things. So I used to do like some blogs on Mediums as well. So I did mention that. And when you get hired, first thing as a graduate, you're hired, then your CV is distributed among the team. So they found out about that. Yeah, I have this technology. I have learned about this. And then they came to me, you can come and join us. So.
Awesome. So good. And another thing I wanted to cover is the getting multiple offers thing, because it's so funny. It's so funny. People, they're struggling to get jobs. They think it's never going to happen, and they're just really disheartened and upset. And then they start doing the right things, like you said, with quality. They focus on a few quality things. They do it consistently. They start getting interviews. Then out of nowhere, within it's been maybe months, and then in 1 week, 3 offers. Or I had one guy within a span of 2 weeks, he got 8 offers. But then for the 3 months before that, none. So what was do you have any tips to people on that process? Like, for example, how you evaluated them, or just any tips?
Okay, so my approach changed at the end when I started getting a lot of offers and these kind of things. Firstly, I was customizing my CV and cover letter the way as much as possible. I was optimizing it. I was working on my LinkedIn every day. Then whenever I was going to apply to a job, so I already had a lot of network. I had talked to a lot of people. So I was trying to find which person have been working there, if I had a right approach with him or her or not. Then before applying, I used to go and have a conversation with them on LinkedIn. But if I had a friend in that company, I just used to call them or something like that, or try to find a connection or something and ask them what can be done there. If I'm going to apply for this and I've already prepared all of these, can you review it if possible? And many of them did. And that was the point where I started to get more offers, when I was able to get my profile, my CV and my cover letter reviewed for a particular job by the people who were working already there. So.
And so how did you choose between an offer from, so you got the offer from EY first, obviously. I'm assuming you just accepted it pretty quick.
Yes.
and then you got these other offers. So was it? Did you think to yourself, oh, these offers, I might consider them, or is it just, this EY is my dream company, I'm just going to go with them and turn these down? What was your approach there? How did you handle multiple offers?
So, like, the reason for me for choosing EY, before EY I already had another offer, but EY has always been my dream company, and this was a grad role. So I have worked my life throughout my bachelor's, throughout my master's, but grad role was something I wanted to get in, because you start from the base and you build your personality, your professional career, your experience, everything from scratch, and there are people to support you in the beginning of your career. Because that's the main important thing. When you have a base, you can launch in whatever direction you want. So even though other offers were better offers in terms of money and these kind of things, but I wanted to join EY. So to answer your question, about other offers, I had to decline. Still today, I get offers from other company. I just simply say, I am happy with the project I am in. I'm happy with the team I am working with. I get ample of opportunities to grow. So that's why I'm going to have to decline. But if anything changes, I'll come back to you. It's the same thing I said to them, because I knew where I was going, what I was going to learn. So that's how I handled multiple offers at that time. I hope that answers your question. I hope you were asking how I declined other offers.
Yeah, I was curious, because some people, they come to me and they say, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just they're frozen. They're thinking, I got this offer, that offer, but it seems like your process was very simple. You already knew that you had a very clear objective of what you wanted out of your life and your job, and how that was going to all link up. And it seemed like the most important thing for you was building the foundation and the base, getting that long-term success. And to do that, you need growth and learning, and to have a very kind of steep learning curve. And like you're doing now, I'm sure you're going to be probably a manager soon.
I hope so.
And so it makes sense. It was easy to make the decision. Which opportunity takes me closer to my goal faster? And you just, obviously EY was.
Yeah, that was no brainer, I would say, for me.
Wow. EY Ireland. That might sounds like a great place to be.
Yeah, it is.
Application.
It is. Yeah,
can you refer me? I'm joking, by the way.
No, thanks.
Okay, cool. What else did I want to cover today? Okay, so the last main question I had before we go into just finishing it up is, for people who are in the grad jobs program, and it's changed quite a bit since you were in it. It's you should check it out sometime. We've got a whole new platform. We have other coaches as well now. So coaches in finance and consulting and stuff, and we have more resources. It's a lot. It's way better than it was. Although it was good.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, you have to check it out. We'll have if you're interested, let me know. I'll show you around.
Sounds perfect. Yeah.
But do you have any tips for people who are in the program now that they've got the resources? So they've got access to these they've still got access to me as a coach. They've got other coaches. They've got all the templates and the scripts and everything's there. Interviews, cover letters, resumes, network, everything's there. They've got a community as well of lots of people who are in the jobs already. How do they maximize that opportunity and get results as quickly as possible?
So I'm a big fan of boxing movies. They always say, follow the program. That's one dialogue every coach is saying. So that is actually follow the routine, follow the program. And I've heard you saying this kind of thing a lot of times when we were on call or we had discussions. Follow the routine. So if you keep following your routine, you're going to follow your dream. And that's the first target, right? Getting the job. So yeah, just follow what you see in front of you, because the people have spent a lot of time and effort to create that program. And if you follow that, you can always tweak, customize it according to you. But and you can have conversation with other people as well. Because when you are struggling, you have, I would say, like kind of trust issues. Like, yeah, that person is saying something or something on that. Because I have done that. Like when you're struggling, you are a sheep. You follow other sheep, and where they're going, you go. And something doesn't work out, you are in a crowd of like people who have failed. But like there are people out there who are successful, who have done it, and they have only done it in a way like where they have followed the program, followed the routine. So
Awesome. I love it. Very simple, and I agree. I think it's a balance, I suppose. I think it seems that when you, I've been thinking about this a bit recently. When you're not as knowledgeable about an area, following a routine makes sense, right?
yeah,
But once you become really knowledgeable about something, you really understand it intricately, you have experience, then you know where you can bend the rules as well.
yeah.
Right? What do you think about that? Do you agree? Or?
So on that, like I was like for my first manager at EY over here, he used to teach me things, and I used to do a lot of mistakes, and he used to come to me and say like, Rakshit, I know like you spend a lot of times to do a task, and the difference between I'm a manager and you was just started is the only thing is like what I spend 5 minutes to work to complete a task, it's gonna take you 1 hour or 2 hours. That's the difference between experience. The moment you are able to do that 5 minutes task, you will be in my place, and that's going to take time. And that's a process. And you keep doing work. Right now, if you do some task and if you send it to me, and before I send it to client, I'll review it. But like with experience, with knowledge, and with what do you call it, the efforts, there was going to be a time when you send me a file, I'm not going to ask you to send it to me. I'm just going to ask you to send it to the client. So same, coming back to your question, yes, you are supposed to follow the routine in the beginning. And yes, when you start to have experience, when you have like experimented with different things, of course, you can start building your own routine, your own agenda, and your own program. And that's what most of the people do. So,
yeah. Definitely. You see it everywhere. Like another good example would be with for people who work out, for example. They'll start off and they'll have a workout routine, they follow it, but then they get to a point and they go, why am I doing 3 sets of 10 every day? Let me look into this. And they realize, oh, maybe if I change it, this will happen, and you start to see how all the variables kind of interlink. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. There's always room for learning in these kind of things. So, yeah.
I know I said I had a last question. I actually have one more last question.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead, please.
I'll be quick. I'm really curious because you're in the field of automation.
Yes.
And ChatGPT's come out.
Yeah.
Italy, I think, has banned it for 6 months.
Yes.
I don't know. I haven't kept up to date on other countries. Elon Musk and co want to stop it from accelerating further. They've brought out ChatGPT 4, I think, like 3 months after 3.5 or whatever, which is like, I think it's like 10 times as smart or something. I probably got it wrong, but something like that. How are you feeling about all of this?
So there are a lot of intelligent people who have already said, like, yeah, it's not a good thing. Me being a newbie in the field and in the sector, I would say, like, it's a good thing. Like, new technology should come in the market. They should be explored, but they shouldn't be given the rein to run everything. And right now, there's not much of people looking into this in terms of like. So not government, like I wouldn't say government, like most of the people, why they want to ban this is like because university students, they started building their own projects with these kind of things. If they are given assignment, they're doing this using ChatGPT rather than like working themselves on this. So that's the biggest setback there is, like it's affecting academics. But coming back to your question, I'd say like it's a good thing. New technology is coming out. We are changing. Everything is changing, and how people think is like everybody have different perspective. My perspective is like, yeah, it should be there. It's a new technology. It's a good one, but you should be like aware how you're going to use it. It's just like social media. If you overuse it, it's gonna like take away your peace of mind. You're going to be scrolling on it like at 2 or 3 a.m. You won't even realize you're scrolling through stories like on Instagram for 2, 3 hours. So ChatGPT is a new technology. It's going to change a lot of things. It's going to help a lot of people, but it's also going to like affect a lot of people in negative way. So we need to be like mindful about that and where that should be implemented. So I'll say like, yeah, if your government, what they have done is it's their derogative, and other governments as well. And Elon Musk is a great guy. What he says goes around the globe.
Yeah.
So, and other, so, I don't know what should I be saying on this, but yeah, it's a great technology.
Do you know if companies like, because I've heard some organizations like I think PwC, for example, in Australia has already been using ChatGPT to deliver specific types of services to clients. Is this something you're seeing EY and other companies start to do, or are they still kind of a bit more risk averse?
So by core, I'm also a data analyst. So I've seen people started using ChatGPT to be integrated in data analysis and writing Python codes and SQL queries and these kind of things. Microsoft, it's a Microsoft product mainly. So EY has a good relationship with Microsoft. They are partners. So we are trying to implement and build technology around it, which can be like offered to our client. So I would say like any company out there, everyone is working on some kind of like implementation of ChatGPT because everybody wants to automate things where they can, because it's all about profit in the market, right? So yeah, I was just saying like people are getting scared because the negative news which comes out, like it's going to eat up your job, but it's going to build a lot of different jobs as well. If you see, sometime back I saw a LinkedIn post about like ChatGPT Whisperer, AI Whisperer jobs out there, which is kind of 300K something offer. So then, like when some jobs goes away, new jobs comes in. Because when I came into RP, I know like it has a shelf life in the market of next 10 to 20 years. After that, new technology is going to be there. Just like in programming, if a programmer they started from C, they moved to Java, C, C++, HTML, these kind of things. The same way, like we are going to move from one job description to another. So the main important thing today is all about learning. So yeah, not to be worried about things which is there, because it's based on natural language generation, NLG. So it only creates what knowledge it has, not like it can perceive or predict future based on thinking, yeah, that could be there. So that's the main, what do you call it, negative point of ChatGPT, I would say. So it will, yeah, consume a lot of jobs, but it's going to create a lot of jobs in the future as well. I know you are not looking for that kind of answer, but I haven't thought about ChatGPT that much because as a human, if I'm learning, I think I'm going to be okay.
No, I like your perspective because you're actually in the field where you're automating stuff for clients all the time.
Yes.
So it's a cool perspective. I've been thinking about it a little bit, but again, not too much. It seems that you're right. I think it gives one human far more leverage, right? So like the job that one human before might have taken a long time, they can now do maybe like 10 times as much of it.
Yes.
So it seems like it is going to require people to find a way to stay valuable with this new technology, basically. But hopefully it all works out and we end up just getting a society that's more abundant and better for everyone. But let's see. It's going to be a strange few years ahead.
Yeah, I would say like in technology, it's strange every day. So there's everything coming new. every second, third day. So yeah, just have to keep up.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else you wanted to mention before we finish up today?
I think we already pretty much covered everything. So
Fantastic. Okay.
and
Yep. Sorry, you go.
yeah, and if anybody wants to like come in contact with me to have some kind of discussion, they can. I'm open on LinkedIn. Just connect and send a message. I'll get back to you whenever I can. So
Thank you. That's very generous. And likewise, if anyone can reach out. Thank you very, very much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's really good to catch up as well. And just keep crushing it. Seems like you're doing really well. So just keep in touch and
will
see you
do.
soon.
Will do.
I'll let you know if I'm in Ireland anytime.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. We can go for a pint. That's what the people do.
I'm actually coming to Europe soon.
Oh wow!
So maybe I probably won't be in Ireland, but maybe I'll hit you up. Do you travel much around there, Europe?
I used to, but not currently. Actually, I'm moving to India for a month. I'm traveling back to India this weekend.
Oh, enjoy.
Yeah, will do. Will do.
Fantastic. Okay, I'll see you later. Thank you again. See you, Rakshit.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.